Hey, everybody. How you doing? My name is Jeremy.
Jeff, and welcome.
Welcome to the show that we like to call What More Could You Want? And we welcome you to the next hour or so, where we like to discuss things that make you uncomfortable, things that are hard to admit, things that are hard to deal with.
Make you think.
Make you question yourself, make you question your damn mom and your dad, make you question your teacher, your preacher, question everybody. So that's why we're here. Last episode, we talked a lot about Barrel Brands and the company that sponsored us. And obviously, you see the signage and stuff, and that's gone. And we're working to get all that stuff replaced and out of the way. So bear with us. But anyway, today it marks another, this is episode 56. I don't know how we got here so quickly, Jeff. I mean, I know we've been going at this for a while. It's been over a year now, but it really does seem like every time we sit down, like it's fresh, like
Time
it's
flies.
brand new.
You have fun.
Right? Like it's wild to think about.
It seems that way, yeah. And at times it's kind of like as we talk, it seems like, obviously with anything in life, you kind of circle back to conversations, moments, memories, but it's like we'll talk about something. It's like, oh, I can remember that. I can't tell you what episode it was.
Right.
But I can remember us having this conversation in this very room,
Yeah.
in these seats about whatever it may be. And it's kind of crazy how it just comes right. It might take a minute or two, but it just how it comes about. It's like, oh, yeah, we talked about that at that time or this or that. It's pretty insane after, 55 have been recorded, 56 now, but will that be the case? 100 plus, will we be able to recall that same type of thing when there's been so many more done under the belt? Hopefully so.
Well, let me ask you, man. So, we didn't really do this at 50. I think we should have. What's your favorite part about doing this? Whether it's selfish or selfless, it does not matter.
I'll go with both. For me, no different than you. You've stated before several times, it's like therapy. It helps talk about things that we've done, you've experienced, or like things you've shared or someone has shared that we've had on.
Right.
And then whether you or I talk about it, we can take it and internalize it, take it home and use it as a benefit. But for the greater part, like when you first called me with this back in the winter of 19 or fall, summer,
something like
19. I believe it was. I've always thought it would be fun to do this and just sit on a mic and maybe kind of rant. And I originally thought more so for the personal benefit of myself. A lot of people do like to hear their own voice, or like a lot of people like to journal, see it in their own writing versus typing it out. I like it for the fact of with anything that you do, if it helps just one person, it's been a success.
Right. Right.
When I first started becoming a trainer, not everyone's going to have this ultimate success and hit all their goals or whatever it may be. But if one person learns something from myself or something I've learned from someone and have passed down, this is a win. And I think that's the coolest part about doing this is that we can reach so many more people that we may know, may never know, across the globe. They can listen to us, they can watch us, they can comment, whatever it may be. I think that it's pretty cool with the technology, if used in the right way, how much you can extend those branches out to the world, and hopefully somebody will grab on it and find something of value from it.
Yeah.
That's what I think is the most rewarding part, is taking things we've learned from others, things we've listened to, read, whatever it may be, experiences, and being able to put it back out that someone will get something from it.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yep. How about for you?
Well, I will start mine by saying that yours is absolutely correct because it's yours. It's your reason, right? Mine are a little different. I like those. I think those are fantastic. But along the lines of family again, can you imagine? You had a relationship with your father. You loved him very much. You had a great life with him, but now he's gone. Mm-hmm. Jeff, when you and I are gone, Reese is going to be able to listen to this and hear her daddy.
That never hit me until Jordan said it that day. Never thought about that, Yeah,
no, it's absolutely correct. You get to catalog your thoughts in a very, very constructed and at your own will pace.
Yep.
And your kids later can listen and go, Dad's sitting right next to me.
And it That's cut you off. As
No,
you were
no,
going on,
right.
but like my wife created a social media page for my daughter. It's private, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's like, well, why can't I have control over this, and this? Some of my friends do. Well, you're younger than some of your friends.
Yeah.
But my wife's like, because I wanted it to be a photo and video album for you to look back on, that you can go back
Right.
and look at the moments that we thought were cool, or as she gets older and she takes photos with the phones,
Yeah.
of moments that you thought were cool that you can go back and look on. Because when we were kids, if it wasn't an actual take it to the drugstore and get your photos printed,
Yeah.
it's a thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. And it never really hit me until we had Jordan on, I think,
Yeah.
the second time. And I was like, oh, shit, I never really thought about that.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to it, man. It really is a beautiful thing to be able to think that you're going to live on through your words. You're going to live on. It's going to be easier for you to live on and your words to live on because they've been recorded. They've been housed somewhere. They've been protected. They've been kept. And so for me, I think that is probably the most beneficial. But I will go back and say that there is something is equally as beneficial to knowing that one person reached out via email because maybe 12 people listened and one person reaches out because we've got a very small listener base right now, but we'll change that. Now I'm not doing barrel. We can work on that, but I digress. If you got somebody else that's, I don't know. I completely blew it there completely.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is you get a few people, it helps.
Yeah.
Or someone tells someone else too,
Yeah. And it's like, when you get that email, you get that message or whatever, or somebody picks up the phone or whatever it is. And it's like, oh yeah, that's why we do this. I do this to help myself and to help other people.
Yeah. And we've few people, I think, that probably knew you, not me, maybe, and I didn't know them. Via social media over the course of this journey have reached out. I'm like, oh man, that was a great episode with you and Jeremy. And I think some of them are probably people maybe you had done.
Who knows?
Who knows? And it's hard to look back.
Doesn't matter.
But I've also made some great friends. Like I didn't know Josh prior to doing the show.
Yeah.
And he's helped me out the truck. It's fun watching him build all his crazy concoctions and stuff at his shop and the things, let alone this dude's kicking the shit out of his fitness journey.
CFT in the house.
It's like watching we texted just briefly. He's like, are we secretly competing? Cause we have the share thing on. It's I'm like, I don't think so. But literally we lined that day I'm like, dude, I'm just staying busy trying to move.
Yeah. I was just in his shop last week and he's completely slimmed down. He's got a better way of mindset. He's in a really good place. Yeah. He seems to be doing lovely. But
no, it's like, through the show of people like that, I met Jordan prior to this and stuff like that, but others that you've known and stuff like that it's cool to learn these things from people. And but even just one person out of the course, if we even recorded 1,000, 10,000 of these and said, hey, love it, it helped, it's a win,
right. It doesn't matter if it's 10 or 10,000, right? It's you contacted somebody, you made a difference.
Yeah. And that's previously, as many of you heard, used to work for a social media kind of based company, and we always had a comment and stuff. And I'll admit, sometimes my comments were never genuine. It was real quick, spit it out because I was, upheld to a quota daily. But then sometimes, especially more so now, I'll read something and like, man, that is awesome. I love that. Might save it, go back to that. But it's one of those things that having that better connection with people of like, man, I really love what you said, you wrote, or that's awesome. If it's a fitness thing, I think those things go a lot further. And even if it's one person, I think it's contagious of like, cool, man, we got one. Yeah. And then 2, 4, 8, and so on and so forth. I think that's, kind of the coolest part of like you're saying, like if a few people email you, it's just kind of like a snowball effect. It just can keep rolling down the hill because odds are they'll probably tell somebody else will somehow find it, see it, and just the way it rolls. Yeah. Well, I don't think that we could have planned this any more perfectly. I really don't. I think that, finding ourselves here on this show at this moment with the things I've gone through, the things that you've gone through, the things that we both continue to go through,
I think it's all perfectly placed. I think it's all here for a very, very specific reason, man.
Oh yeah, because I can remember being at work. I was in the warehouse, doing my job. I didn't work in a warehouse, but I didn't have an office, so I kind of hid in the warehouse, and I would make we had lots of pallets full of boxes for shipping, and I would make one of those my desk, and I kind of hid. And I was finishing up going back to where I kind of shared a space with some other guys and gals.
Yeah.
And I remember like, oh, Jeremy's calling. And I think I had to call you back because I probably was on the phone more than likely.
Oh, I'm sure.
And calling you back, I was like walking around like, dude, hell yeah, I'll do that. And I was like in the far aisle. I remember everything in that aisle.
Wow.
That's where like, because I literally in a day, I would walk 10 plus miles in this warehouse.
Right.
Being on the phone. And we would all strategically try and move, or we would all flow so we could keep going up and down the aisles, but not be so close we could hear each other.
Right.
But, that's where the one owner stored all his motorcycles and stuff because he didn't have other place.
Awesome.
So it was like, I could be there. And then we'd set up chairs and stuff. Like, we made this place like our own. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like
kind of hid like, there was old like furniture. So like you were hidden under one shelf. Like, you just had space, and
yeah, I think it's awesome.
It was
I love that.
But
you remember all that.
But you can remember those things, and it was just kind of like cool. I was like, remember walking back into the office, like probably to get my laptop or something. I was like, man, this is awesome. It's gonna be so cool. Can't wait to see. And like again, showing up to this, we didn't have the lights at the time, but you had other.
We had some lights. Yeah, we had lights. We didn't have a lot of the grids. We didn't have this up here,
which you guys can't see from the other side, but
right. Well, if we go to the wide angle right now, which I'm willing to bet we can with the with technology.
Yeah.
We've had the lights that you don't see on the sides, and we've had this light, but they've been positioned differently. We had different cameras. We had full
like a big
SLR
like
cameras,
studio backdrop kind of thing, and like a different thing. And he had different cameras and stuff when we did. The mics were here.
Yeah, the mics have been here. You
didn't have that at first, did you?
We had the mics, but I had them on the drum stands instead of with the booms.
Yeah, so like...
Yeah, a lot of things have changed.
I'm thinking when we were walking into this, it's going to be like on the cell phones. As I've seen a lot of guys do.
Sure.
I'm thinking, cool, got to bring my phone, I use my headphones all day at work to talk anyway, so it's like no big deal. So I'm like, cool, we're going to record these things on our iPhones or something. We'll be plugged in. Walking into this, and I'm like, holy shit, like, okay, this is already one further than I thought.
Right.
And some guys that I know, like when I've seen them at some of our kids' mutual event things, like, dude, where the hell is your guys' studio at? Like, that's insane. I'm like, that's a room in my buddy's house. Bullshit. I'm like, that's in his basement. It's just one of the extra rooms.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Like,
yeah, it's a blessing.
Like how many, people are like, oh, so where's your warehouse at? Like, where do you go? Because, they, assume Barrel Brands, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Not knowing that your business was within the home, not some external location.
Yeah.
Yeah, my expectations were blown away from day one of like, cool, I'm thinking we're going to be on, our iPhone, headphones and this and that. And then coming in here and it's like, we got these, I feel like I should be in like a studio recording, got these cans on these mics. I'm like, and I have no singing talent, but it's like.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Above and beyond, let alone you had the space decorated pretty cool. A few things have changed here and there, but it's like, you were like, most people are like at step one. And I think Jordan said this is like, no, if most people are at step one, Jeremy's at step 100 before it even starts.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would agree that's how you do. And that's no different than when you had the, Barrel Brands up and running. Like, it was like, whew,
turnkey.
Yeah.
Nobody, it's supposed to be seamless. So people go, holy shit, that's been here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like 20 steps ahead where most people are like, we got to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
It blew me away with that aspect. I was just like, okay, that's cool.
Right. You go home, you're like, this is for real. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of iterations, and I've got a lot of things that are on the sort of like the back burner, like that we haven't used in the set yet. I went through so many tripods and cameras and cables, and I really did have to.
I think most people would be baffled what we're being filmed on now.
Oh yeah, all the GoPros and everything.
GoPros.
Yeah, we decided that in order to get more personal, I decided. Sorry, it was on my own, definitely. But I decided to get away from the digital SLR cameras, the big rigs, because they were cumbersome, they were imposing, they intimidated people. It was weird for.
As I stare at the GoPro.
Right, but it's different. It's not like a big lens.
I have no knowledge in this world of this stuff.
Right. So I wanted to get more up close and personal and an easy an inexpensive way to do that is with the new GoPros. They got a very, very wide field of view, so we can have it right here in front of us, just like you see. And I really enjoy them. I really have enjoyed using them. I get tired of pulling the SD cards out of them, and you got to take the door off to do it and this and that. But by and large, I think that you guys probably.
And I'll say, like, you guys didn't know how obsessed he was with, like, the filters or the color and all these things I'd learned, like, you know, when you're going through these different settings on the camera, and I'm like, what the hell is all this crap moving? Oh, that's what's bouncing off light and this and this. You know, things I learned a little bit from some of the media guys at the previous company, because, you know, we'd have to be in some photo stuff, and I'm like, that looks fine. No, the light here, and I'm like, oh, you can edit that, I'm sure, somewhere along the line. I don't want to do that, though.
Yeah.
But all the behind-the-scenes things, it's pretty insane since day one of here.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking forward to the next thing with this.
Just imagine if, you know, we get a few viewers and listeners a little bit more, and maybe we can get somebody to come in and say, hey, we want to give you a few bucks to add to the show. Maybe we can make something better. I don't know. Yeah. You know, maybe one day we go back to big digital SLRs, but I don't know. For now, these are lightweight. They're easy.
I don't even think most people know. And I noticed no difference from the previous big, crazy cameras to these.
Well, the only difference that you'll notice, and it really does take somebody that's looking for it, a lot of people will just go, well, there's something different. But I used some really nice cinema camera lenses on my digital SLRs before, and they were very wide angle. They gave a little distortion on the edges, but not too much. But they gave you this really, really shallow depth of focus and view, and then like that bokeh background, like that blurry, right?
Yeah,
so that
it kind of was just distorted.
But that does one of two things, right? That like it does give you that, but it also makes it very difficult where if you're using your hands or you're moving around, most cameras today are going to be searching for focus. And if you just have it on manual, which I normally did, I don't have somebody pulling focus.
Yeah.
So if you're moving around and you get out of focus, you're just out of focus. Can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
So I had to say, okay, artistically, I would prefer to have that softer background. But because we went to the GoPros and we have more of a crisp, it's filming everything kind of view, which is okay, more like a phone would do.
Yeah.
You get to see more things. You get to see things that are in the bookshelves. You get to see things that are on the wall. You get to see details that you couldn't see before. So it's a trade-off, and it's not one that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the GoPros just don't offer that.
Well, too, and if we ever decided to be more mobile.
Yes. You take one tripod with two GoPros on it. And
them flipping cameras.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're set. And, you know, what's great with this little setup is we could be side by side and have both GoPros going and have, you know, we not with this microphone, but we could be sharing a mic.
No.
And it wouldn't be a big
It's definitely, you know, exceeded the expectations. Again, as we talked about previously many times, like, what were you expecting coming in? I had no expectations because I'm like, okay, cool. We're just going to sit and talk, and we'll have to get our feet wet. But then coming in here, we did how many test runs of sound and listening and
watching and
all that. But it's just like, like, you know, I really had no expectations going in. I just assumed, like, literally, as I say this over and over, we're going to be on iPhones or recording or whatever, as I've seen some people do.
Yeah.
And I just assumed it'll be the bare minimalist.
Hey, dude, listen, better. I've seen some really amazing things that have been filmed on phones.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know,
I know some guys, we know guys who do podcasts, and they do, like, we shoot from an iPhone, and we clean it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, you know, I was fortunate enough that I had a little bit of cash left over from another project that I did. Another hobby I'd gotten rid of, sold some stuff. And it was like, listen, I don't have it in me to be like, hey, we're going to do something, everybody. And then it's like, well, that's fucking jankety. Like, why'd you do that? I am much more the guy that's like, well, Jeremy said he's going to do this like a year ago. And then in 2 years, I show up and it's done.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck. Okay. Because shit takes time.
You
know, we can all say we're going to do something. We can all say we want to do something. But until you go and do it, you know, we had the opportunity to go and put our product in front of the Blues. And we really thought we had a good opportunity to get in their clubhouse and be able to sell merchandise there and whatnot. It's a lot easier with the NHL than it is Major League or NFL. But just didn't get to it. It was on the list, things to do. You know, my project with Jamie at Hatebreed, it was on the list, things to do. It was wonderful just to be able to put that feather in my hat that I collabed with Jamie Josta from Hatebreed on an oil for him, or for Kirk from Crowbar, or Randy from Lamb of God, or any of these other metal bands that, we just didn't get around to it. It just ran out of time.
They'll be visiting us in September.
Yeah, they will. And I look forward to going to that show. Hopefully we can get some face-to-face time. So it's just time. Just ran out of time. That's it. Just sometimes you run out of time. Sometimes you have to be able to make the adult decision that I cannot do that, and it's not going to make anything worse by not doing it. So,
and that's a big thing too that I've read a lot and seen a lot more people talk about. This one guy I follow, I think his name's Tom Boulay. I'm trying to remember how actually his last name. He'll put things up. I think he's written some books. He speaks. He's got a podcast, and he'll put things up talking about like you're going to get opposing sides of this. That you have people that think that if you did not do something, you failed your day. That you should always anything you write down or what you set to do, you should always accomplish. It's just not possible.
No, and you've got to. I think where we get hung up is we get mad at ourselves, right?
Yeah, and so then that's what Tom talks about. Like, be selfish. You want to work out for 2-3 hours? Do it. You found a book you want to read? Sit there and read the thing all day. You want to sit outside by the pool? Do it. Trying to teach people not to feel guilty for doing the self-help things that they need. Not so much that those are like high up the spectrum, but
right.
Cool, you found a good book that you want and you just get so entangled in it, sit and read it all day. You don't want to do something today? Then don't. You want to take off work today and you have the ability to? Then do it.
Yeah.
Teaching people that need to be more gusto with those types of attitudes, and then teaching people that if you do those things, don't feel guilty, but you will be that much more happier, more beneficial to others around you.
Yeah.
He's really trying to, and it's funny because he'll hold, like, some days it'll be a big poster board, it'll be a whiteboard.
Right.
It'll be him writing, like, he'll do different things, and he also talks. But I find those very intriguing because I think we've gotten so far is to do that, like, that people feel guilty when they do something a little bit more for themselves. Like, I told my wife today, I'm like, hey, I was like, oh, I'm coming over here early. Oh, why? And I'm like, oh, we might do a double. And then I'm like, well, did you work out? No, I'll have to work out later.
Right.
Clients this morning. I'll do, I got to go get grocery pickup later, blah, 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 part of the day type of thing.
Right.
And I was like, she's like, oh, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, that doesn't leave me. I'm like, well, go walk, listen to your podcast, meditate, do a longer one today.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to leave the dog in the kitchen. Let's just leave him in the kitchen today. See what happens.
Yeah. Got to be flexible.
You know,
right? We become so rigid sometimes we forget that
and
we
I've
need to
tried
be
to do
pliable.
that with my fitness. As much as like I want to wake up at the crack ass of dawn, if I don't need to, I'm realizing that getting another hour of sleep has truthfully been more beneficial. Whereas I was waking up at 3 o'clock, you know, for the longest of time. And I was like, dude, you know, working out, training clients, going to work, doing my thing. But when I was done at the end of the day, I was done, but I was done.
There was nothing left for anybody, including yourself, right?
And that's the hard part. Like, and that's where you got to find that like time and that balance. But I think it's a good thing to think about when you do something. Yes, you should be selfish in a manner, but not so much that it consumes every ounce, every minute of your day. Like I got a buddy who, hopefully he's moving back. Maybe we'll have him on. Dude, self-taught in music.
Yeah.
He's DJ'd. He has like cassettes, records galore.
Right.
He makes his own beats and he just loves music. He's a flipping genius. He has no background in this.
Right.
But he does this, and he's got 4 kids. And, you know, him and his wife, I can only imagine, you know, and the madness. But whenever he finds time to do this stuff, I know that it, somewhere in that day-to-day life, that week, that month, that is helping him find some balance between the madness of the 4 little ones running around, wife, his job, stresses of getting ready to move kind of partially across country again. Like, I think those things help, and that's, you know, find things that hopefully are beneficial to you.
Yeah.
And be a little greedy with it. And hopefully your spouse, significant other, your kids understand that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes my wife thinks like, you know, I'm obsessed with working out, but I don't know. Like I find balance with it. I can shut my brain off. Right. And that's one of the few times I can. Like, it's very hard, you know, and that's even through meditation, as they talk about, I can go meditate and get my brain to shut off.
Yeah.
I can, if I really hone in. But when I'm going to sleep, I can't get my brain to shut up.
Yeah.
It won't stop. Because then you should do this, make a list, do this, you should do that, or that, it's just like, stop.
Got to get that brain to turn off.
And that's very hard. And so like when I work out, I can listen to music, podcasts. Sometimes it's just, let's just listen to myself breathe, my heartbeat going in my chest.
Yeah.
The brain can shut off and relax for a moment. And I get done. I'm like, I feel good. I feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Let alone all the other physical and health benefits that it's doing that, we're not going to go down the list of. But
yeah,
it's those things like yesterday I got done. My wife was working out. My daughter was doing something. I'm like, I'm just going to sit in the back chair in the sun and I'm going to meditate. Did my breathing exercise. I got up and I was like, man, I feel so good, so relaxed. I'm like,
right.
This is great. And it, yes, benefits you, but I think collectively as a whole, it benefits the whole group when you do be a little selfish at times for those things, because it's proven we all need those little moments to get away and do those things. And,
your self-care is so important.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think, we go back to like, why do we do this? Why do we like the show and what we do? Because it is a form of self-care.
Yeah.
But it's a form of self-care that you can share and hopefully somebody else can use as a part of their self-care or self-help routine. It's not lost on us that you may listen to us and then go do whatever you want to do. That's cool. That's on you. But at least for us, we've, not that there's a box to check, but we've checked a box that said, hey, did you help somebody today? I hope so. I really hope so, and I hope that I help somebody every day, not just on the days where we record our podcast. But when you focus so intently on helping other people or helping yourself so you can help other people, it just puts you in a better place.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's so much easier for me to be like, perfect example. Yesterday, I was on my way home from band practice. Wonderful band practice. Fucking outstanding. Truck pulls over in front of me from the fast lane, like the big rig. And now it's like 5 feet from me. I'm like, okay, that was probably unnecessary. And then it starts slowing down. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And I start going through all these cycles, this shit that I've done. Like every time somebody makes you mad, what are you doing? What the fuck? This blah, 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 this whole thing. And then I stopped myself. And he pulled over on the side, on the shoulder, and he stopped, slowed down. And I was like, you know what? That could have been that dude's 5th stop in the last 2 miles. His truck could be failing. He could be having the worst fucking day of his life. And here I am sitting behind him, bitching and fucking yelling, but I didn't. I caught myself because of meditation, because of this podcast, because of everything that we've been doing. I was able to stop myself, and I said, you know what? I hope that guy's okay.
Yeah.
I hope everything's okay with his rig, because you don't just stop an 18-wheeler on the side of the fucking road for no reason. No. It takes a while to get going again.
Yeah, it's like a train. You just can't hit the brake and slow that bad boy down.
And we were on an exit ramp.
Yeah.
So it's extra hard. So to stop and have some compassion and some empathy in the middle of a fucking, almost a tirade, at least in my own head, dude, that proves that this shit works.
Yeah, it's those types of things of, we've all heard this, we never know what someone's going through to kind of cut them some slack,
Yeah.
And stuff like that. At the grocery store the other day, I was telling my wife, this lady, everywhere I went, she seemed to appear.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're at Sam's, so it's like a warehouse store, buying bulk kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like Costco. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm like, these aisles are pretty big, and some spots it's like putting your cart there, and then her husband comes up and he's on a motorized little thing.
Oh wow.
And she's like, get the cart out of the way. No one can go through. What are you doing?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, you might not physically be able to walk, walking might be a little rougher for you. Maybe cognitively, they were older. Obviously.
Maybe on the decline.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, but every turn, I was like, oh my God, there she is again. And it would be like, why? You got to be right in front of me, or you got to pull up. And it was like,
right.
You should continue straight. It'd be like, nope, back, turn, and go all the way around to get where you needed to go. And it's just kind of like, I just kind of let it be. But it's almost like, man, she was driving me nuts. And then her husband came up, and I was like,
yeah,
that was the key that clicked in my head. Cognitively, maybe we're not all there.
Yeah.
Benefit of the doubt.
Maybe one's a caretaker for the other.
Yeah. And
right.
Maybe she's just so focused on something else, whatever. But he's like, but I was just kind of laughing my head internally. Like, okay, I'm not the only one seeing it. But if he had to make a note of it, probably something else that I'm not seeing and knowing. So it's like, it's just like that. Yeah. It's just kind of like, and I'm not going to be like, hey, old lady, get the damn cart out of the aisle.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to be that type of person.
That's
literally,
good.
when I go, no, when I'm in the grocery store, like, or doing those things out, I'm pretty like, I'm in and out. I'm not here to hang out and peruse and look. It's just like the list, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
You know, and it's those things of just, like you said, the thing can run, it can all run through your mind.
Yeah.
It's as soon as you open your mouth and speak it, then you've lost that battle. But if you're keeping it internal and it rolls and you say those things, but you don't externally put it to the world, you won that battle.
Yeah, a real easy way to practice this is at home with your kids. How many times do you like are your kids saying something and like maybe you think that it's about you, but maybe you just think it's your job as a parent to say, hey, what are you guys talking about? Mm-hmm. Don't do it. Just walk on by.
Yeah.
If they need me, they'll tell me. If I keep prying, eventually they're going to be like, fuck it, dude, I'm not going to you for nothing.
Well, it's
get away.
Where did I read this thing? I think it was Tommy John's son.
Yeah, I got
Same
you.
thing.
Yeah.
TJ is what they call him. I think he posted something the other day talking about, letting your children explore and do things, and don't be, oh, you're going to fall, you're going to do this. You have to let them have that internal threat of get hurt, but it's hard as a parent to be like, oh, get down from there. Don't be doing that. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's kind of those things you kind of have to let them fall or have that balance of that uneasy moment of that, oh, shit moment to be like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I got to be a little bit more careful when I do this.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw that. And then last night we were walking the dog. My daughter was riding the bike and she's looking behind and swerving. And I just didn't say anything. I'm like, all right, if you fall, you fall, but you'll have to learn.
Yeah.
And how many times have we done that in our lives? And it was just kind of one of those things, remembering what he posted and thinking like, okay, yeah. But if we had that same thing, my daughter does gymnastics. If I sat there at practice and she was doing something, you'd be like, nope, can't do that. It's a little dangerous. Well, then how is she ever going to look like these young ladies and stuff that are just killing it in the gym, in the Olympics doing these crazy tricks? Well, if you don't fail, you don't earn that. If you don't fall, and it's a hard thing to.
Well, but here's the thing though: if you fall, or if you fail, or you falter, you mess up. If you've done the work that says it's okay to mess up, then you know.
Yeah.
If you've only been told your whole life, do the best you can, don't fuck up. Got to make lots of money, got to go to college, got to go to church, got to do this, got to fucking tighten your tie. That's all you know.
Yeah.
So when you do fuck up, it is the end of the world. There was no pot of gold at the fucking end of the rainbow. You fucked up and that's it. But you take two people, they both fuck up. They both had the same lives, which we know they don't, but let's just say they did. One moves on, one doesn't. You hear me? Yeah. One moves on, one doesn't. One stays put. And you know what? I lived my life as a scared and pissed off little fucking 9-year-old kid for most of my life.
Yeah.
Because I never moved forward.
And that's something my wife shared the other day, talking about, as a child, we should feel safe, protected, free to do those things. As a child, you shouldn't live in fear, being scared of outside torment, inside torment, whatever it may be, like comparing of what a childhood should be of freedom to living in the fear of it.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because obviously that spirals into adulthood, as we talked about, going back 11 generations within our DNA. Stresses of that 11th generation are still within us from that first one.
Yep.
And it's interesting that, what fears or things are hindering from childhood, things that are unforeseen in our DNA that make us who we are now in this moment, that help with that reaction to the truck driver.
Yeah.
Obviously you can be people people cut you off, blah, 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 but to some people that could happen and they wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Your environment's how you're raised. How you're raised.
That and internal factors.
What's come from your past.
What we don't see in that code that even a DNA doc or scientists couldn't even analyze. It's those things that we don't see in the makeup of the genetic code. And it all goes into that of fight, flight, like we talked about, all those types of crazy things. But it's
when you're aware that you have the choice to either shut the door quietly and move on, or slam it and be heard. It's your choice.
It's kind of like the acronym of fear. Many people will say, face everything and run, or face everything and rise. There's many people have changed it, but it's which level are you living in?
Yeah.
The one you want to run or the one you want to rise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's your decision, no different than it was our decision to make this podcast and keep making it. It's our choice. It's our decision.
Yeah. Because what did Jordan say? How many make it?
I don't even. I think he said that like if you made it past like 7 episodes, you were doing pretty good.
10, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he said most don't.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I remember in the beginning, too, when you're like, we're waiting on Apple's approval.
Yeah.
It's like,
Jesus.
well, God, everybody else can get on that. It shouldn't be too hard, but
It just takes time.
Longer process.
Yeah, it just takes time.
It's bigger than, but hey.
Like everything, like we said, shit just takes time. You have to feed the plant. You have to fucking raise your kid. You have to change the oil in your car. There's fucking things you got to do. And like, we just forget about the maintenance. We want to throw our memories away. We want to buy new ones. You throw the TV away, you buy a new one. You throw the car away, you buy a new one. Well, you have to stop yourself at some point and say, listen, I can't keep throwing this shit away. I've got to deal with this. Mentally.
You can't keep trying to, as some like doctors say, you can't just keep trying to rewire the code in your head.
Yeah.
Like if we do this, majority of us are going to go hand. Cool.
Right.
Left hand, palm.
Yeah.
You're going to have a few things that hit you, but we're all encoded in the same way to see this before us. How hard is it to rewire the brain to see this in a whole new light of not a hand, palm, blah, blah, blah. You can't keep just throwing the trash out and expecting a different result. You have to rewire, recode, rethink, all that to be a new thing.
Yeah.
Especially it's like I've gotten rid of a lot of crap at the house as we've been cleaning stuff, and it's like, do I want to sell it? Do I just want to give it away and donate it? Or do I want to trash it? Some things are like, I'm trashing because I don't think anybody wants this. But then a lot, donating, and some things like, okay, maybe I'll potentially try and sell that.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things. It's just like you're speaking about of how you're going to deal with it.
Yeah. If you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the ground and you've had a good night's sleep and you've got a solid plan of action for the day, or maybe you don't, maybe you're just going to chill. That's on you. That's not on your wife or your husband or your partner or whatever. That's not on them to make sure that when you get up in the morning, you're happy. It's your job to be happy for them.
Yeah.
So that they don't wake up to piss and vinegar.
And no one should be bringing you your internal, external happiness.
No,
that first starts with you.
We've talked about that ad nauseum. But if you want to wake up in a good mood, you got to go to bed in a good mood. If you want to go to bed in a good mood, you got to eat dinner in a good mood. Right?
Well,
there's things that build, right?
Going to the food. What you're putting in is going to be a result of, mental and physical output. Put shit food in, shit food out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it goes with that.
You don't take care of yourself, mentality is not going to be very strong. There's a reason why you don't have to be the most physical fit specimen to walk this earth, but
right.
A lot of people who have a good mental fortitude are typically somewhat physically fit in an aspect of it,
Yeah, man. I mean, as soon as I got off medications, I've melted 20 pounds off.
Yeah.
Just getting off medication. I stayed active. I didn't change anything. My activities level's the same. I'm a little busier during the day. Like maybe I don't stop and sit down as often as I used to because of just like lethargy or being just worn out or whatever. But man, being like clear-minded and happy and, really sort of content with my life and where I've gotten, it really does make putting your feet on the ground a very enjoyable experience. It's not like dragging yourself out of the bed. You go, oh, cool, I get to do this again today.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool. Like I didn't think I would ever get to that point. I always thought like you had to be a very famous person, lots of money. And then one day you go, oh, I have no worries. Bullshit. You got worries before money. You got worries without.
Yeah.
It's not the money that's got you goat. It's you.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I've had both. I've had money and I've gone without. I was the same person.
Yeah.
I mean,
you really should be. It's easier said than done. I guess most people aren't probably gonna, try it. But a little social experiment you could do with yourself is try and do something for a week where you don't spend money. Pretend you don't.
Yeah.
If you have all your groceries in your house, dig a little deeper into the pantry, into the freezer, the fridge of what you already have, and versus that, don't eat out. Like you can do those things, and it's very interesting to see that. Yes, money is good and it makes the world go around. That's survival, but there are people in this world who don't have a cent to their name that are surviving and way happier than the richest.
Yeah, man.
You know.
So imagine if you find that balance where you're like, it's where I'm trying to be right now. I don't have to work. I'm okay. I'm on a fixed income, but it's a decent one. Don't have to have a new car. Don't have to, but if I want to go get one, I can.
Yeah.
I just have to be sensible about it,
Yeah.
But what a better way to find balance and to make it, right? Like you have to.
Yeah, I think that brings a different breed of mentality to life when, like you said, fixed income, which everyone is in a sense. It's just what level do you live it to?
Sure.
But doing that and then realizing that you're content and you're happy. I don't need to, as you said before, you've been at this very high paying, look at the money flow job to cool. I'm retired.
Yeah.
You're out of the military. You're out of that corporate civilian military life. Your business that you own and ran is going to take a hiatus for a while. That you have this balance and true happiness, and you've been at all spectrums of it. And you don't have to have all those things to be happy, content, and at peace.
But you have to go through those things to get to the point where you can truly find inner peace, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that I'm sure there are people out there that have wonderful lives and you don't struggle and you weren't raised in strife or poverty. Awesome. I'm willing to bet you still got some fucking shit you're hung up on.
I believe everybody does.
I think we all do. That's where I was going with that. Yep. I think that no matter your demographic, your class, your status, whatever, you got shit to deal with. You hide it. You run away from it. You eat it away. You drink it away. You smoke it away, whatever your vice is. You have sex with random people. You go to strip clubs too much. You fucking go to the buffet too much, whatever it is.
Everybody's got a vice.
Everybody's got something.
Whether a good one or a bad one.
Yeah. I mean, I used cannabis on a regular basis. I shouldn't say on a regular basis. I use cannabis to help me sleep at night every once in a while. And then I like to use it when I'm not, when I don't have to do anything. When I truly have free time, it's very relaxing. But it's a vice. I got off medications. I'm still on a medication, sort of, using cannabis. So, now my next step for that is I'm going to just wean myself off of that.
Yeah.
And then but here's the thing. I'm going to find balance. I quit drinking for a long time. Well, I had really good beer the other day and I enjoyed it. So do I drink? Yeah, I eat too.
Oh yeah, but
I don't
not like
eat
you're making the
20,000
alcoholic
calories.
Beverages your source of,
right,
hydration type thing.
Or your source of happiness.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like the wife and I sit on the back deck with a really enjoyable beer from like Narrow Gauge or Side Project or something, and we go, man, this is fucking awesome. What a view. Like, what a great day.
Yeah.
Sharing a beverage. We unwind a little. Awesome. A little different than whenever I used to come home from a trip or from a meeting and grab a fucking beer and then grab another. And next thing you know, I've had fucking a 6-pack or a case of beer or a bottle of whiskey.
Like, I used to work with someone that would talk about how much they'd have every night. And I'm just like, and they have kids and stuff like, you tried dealing with X amount of kids. I'm like, but then if that's the case, you should have never had kids, or you need to find something else. Like, yes, your day may seem stressful because I didn't get to see what this individual did all day long. Our encounters were minimal, but obviously you're doing a lot, but there should be no vice as soon as you get home that you have to, or being in a day-to-day event that so much has to be involved of you drinking. That's a whole nother different problem, masking something in a bigger scale that you're not admitting to or willing to admit to, or maybe you're not conscious of right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's fine to like, cool, I want to have a drink. Like, there's some nights, like, it does sound good to have a beer or have a drink.
Yeah.
But most, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that balance, right? It's like there's days where maybe you want to work out, like you, if you went home tonight and you like things just kept getting in the way, and you're like, it's 8:00 at night, it's 9:00, you still haven't worked out. You can say, okay, crazy side, I have to work out. There's no choice. I cannot go to bed unless I work out. Or you can say, well, I didn't not work out on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm
going to get some sleep, and I'll hit it tomorrow.
That would be one of mine from previous of not working out. Like,
right.
I find it in many different ways. You know, it physically, mentally pushes me. I feel for the health benefits. I truly enjoy it. I'm a nut of somebody who enjoys fitness, sweating my ass off, pushing myself. You know, getting done with a workout, laying on the floor, doing whatever. I enjoy that.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I'm not alone in that.
No.
But yeah, I used to be like, oh God, I got to do that. Where I would work out at 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. You know,
Right. Just to check the box.
Yeah, back in the day, you know, I would do that. Like even when I would fight though, I would sometimes wouldn't sleep, be like 1, 2 in the morning. I'm gonna go for a run and I'll come back and try and fall back asleep. But yeah, it's like now if I don't work out, I'm not so hard on myself.
Yeah.
But I try to make time for it because it's a priority.
Sure.
In a good way that benefits me for hopefully a long haul.
And that embodies flexibility.
Yeah.
Right? And that embodies health. The opposite would be, it's 9 at night. Wife wants to go to bed. She'd prefer if I was in bed with her. But I'm going to go out in the garage and I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
Because I have not checked that box.
And I've done like early in the morning and get the crash pads out pending the movement. And that way I'm not waking the household neighborhood up. But
sure.
It's like, okay, we have this, and this. So I'm going to get up early, get this done. Then I got it done.
Yeah.
I'll sacrifice some hours of sleep. So then everything, whatever we got for the rest of the day is accomplished.
Sure.
And
that's one way of looking at it.
Today I should have, but I was like, man, I was beat from the past 2 days. I was like, I'm not going to get up early today. I still got up fairly early, but I'm like, not before the sun type early.
Right.
And so it's just those types of things of how you find that balance of where you can finagle it in. And some days it's like, okay, the warm-up's going to be a little shorter. We're going to move a little faster.
Yeah.
Maybe it's every 90 seconds, 2 minutes for the lift. Maybe it's going to get shortened a little bit more.
Yeah.
I did that yesterday. I was like, man, I want to try and get this done. So it was supposed to be like an imam. Well, that imam started rolling into, as soon as we get done, we change the weights, we do the next movement, and we're rolling right in.
Yeah.
A little bit more painstaking, but
yeah,
able to get things done a little sooner to do other things.
Yeah. For those of you that aren't in the know, an imam is every minute on the minute. So if you're doing a deadlift or a squat, every minute you've got, let's say, 10 squats at X percentage of your weight. And then when you're done, you're done. So you get done at 20 seconds, you got 40 seconds left. But if you get done at 59 seconds,
you got 1 second.
You got 1 second.
Yeah. So yesterday it was push presses and then into 50 double unders.
Wow.
Or 30 seconds. So it was push press, that. So I was literally merging them pretty quickly. And I was just like, I'm just going to get this done. And I was like, oh. And then those last couple sets, I was like, oh, okay, I can feel that.
That's a lung burner right there.
But it wasn't so bad. It was like, I can feel it in my calves today because there was minimal rest to the double unders, so you're pogoing. If you did them all unbroken, you're at least thinking 250 times you jumped.
Right.
Real quick.
Right. Yeah.
But obviously that's not the case.
And it can destroy your shins if you're not careful.
So it's those types of things. You find ways to adapt and fit things in where they need to be. Like, I'll meditate driving or after workout in the morning, try and read, sneak it in when I can. Sometimes, I might read when we got the TV on. It's not absolute quiet, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
You find where you can get it in and do it.
Yeah, sure. And then you're okay if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a big, I think that's very important for you to remember, people, is like, it's okay if you don't get something done that you expected to do, but it's equally as important to remember that it's okay that if somebody else falters or doesn't meet an expectation, you have to forgive them. You have to be compassionate. Otherwise, you won't forgive yourself. So it's like it's that mirror image thing. It's the projection. If you've ever read about any mental illness or just the state of our world that we're in right now, there's a lot of projection. There's a lot of my problems. I'm seeing them on you and I'm getting angry at them, but they're my fucking problems. I'm just seeing you do the same thing that I'm doing. So now I'm mad at you, but I never stopped to reflect. You're just showing me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like that's truly how we work as a people. That's why I talk, you listen. You talk, I listen.
Yeah.
You do, I watch. I do, you watch. We both do together. We better be proficient.
Yeah.
We better fucking have some practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
Yeah. How it goes.
Yeah.
It's just that fucking easy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just say,
it's just that easy.
Do that. Yeah.
Hey,
that's with anything. It just takes time and practice and effort.
So, speaking of practice, since we're going all over the place, we're band practice, and I've been thinking about this for a while, or it was before practice. I said, guys, we're looking for a bass player. I'm a vocalist. I've dabbled around with bass before and this and that, but I never thought that I would do what I did. I said, you know what?
Try both.
I'm gonna pick up a bass. So that's what I'm doing. So yesterday we went and looked at some. Today we're gonna go look at some. I think I figured out what I'm gonna get, but I'm just gonna pick up the bass and I'm gonna start by learning the songs that we play. And I think that's gonna give me something really great to focus on, because I know I can write. I've written for years. I like my writing. I appreciate it. I'll show it to anybody. But this is where I'm gonna have to really buckle down.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to spend hours by myself, which I like doing. But now it's going to be doing something for me, something constructive.
Well, something focused, a new skill.
Yeah, something that
I think that's good for people to do at times is pick up something of an old skill that's gone to the wayside to refresh or try something new.
Yeah, man. Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. I think that, I didn't want to go and find, like, I thought about maybe helping a friend out at a shop. Like, like so-and-so, like either Josh or Drew or anybody, like, hey, you need an extra hand? But then what happens on Monday when they expect me to come in and I'm like, I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. So it's more like, it's Wednesday, I'm going to go visit. It's Friday, he said he needed some extra help, I might go do it. It's not like you expect me to be here and I'm here. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I mean, not for the foreseeable future. Maybe sometime down the line I get a wild hair and I'm like, I'm go help somebody every day. I don't know. But I really think that it will be
I think you're going to be
nice.
Do your thing for a while. And then I think like a lot of retirees,
Yeah.
you then realize, I'll just do something part-time or help out.
Yeah.
You'll find something else to dabble your hand in to keep the wheel going.
Yeah. And for me, one of those things is, what can I do with my time and money that will keep me busy so I'm not searching for something to do with my time and money?
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to keep my attention, and it's got to be intriguing. It's got to be good conversation. It's got to be a hard task. It's got to be a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Put on yourself, pressure, I should say. That's when I thrive. That's when I pay attention. That's when I learn. That's when I teach. The easy shit, it just, I don't know. It's mundane. Like, you get lost in it. You start thinking about random shit and you're not focused.
Yeah.
And just like with meditation, man, when you can get something like a guitar or a piano or I'm not a good artist. So like if I was to write, I would imagine I would want to spend time doing that because I'm focused on that and I can't think of other things.
Yeah.
Some people's like, I just get lost in doing this. And I think that's what they mean. You get lost in so sucked into doing the one thing that you can't think of anything else. You're sort of on this other level. You're in the zone, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for something to provide that zone, but something that gives back, something that, I don't know, like the three guys in my band, including myself, we write good music together, feels good, sounds good. I mean, we can put a song together in no time. It's gotten really crazy how easy it's been. And, they told me, they're like, it was really cool because you would think that being in a band, your band members would be like, well, we need to get somebody that really knows what they're doing. And they're like, why don't you do it? That's different. That's not like, I'm in control and you have to be this way.
You have the potential and the know-how that you can pick it up. And
trust.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, we trust that you'll go do this and you'll bring it back and we'll be better for it because we don't really want to bring somebody else in. Like, we sort of got something going now and we're like, we sort of dig this.
Yeah. And that's, I can, never been in a band, but I can see that no different than hearing professional bands and stuff out there, that's their full-time means of income type people. When they lose someone, it's very hard to pull those people in, or especially a lot of these older bands that have been, these guys are in their 60s and 70s, and some of their bandmates aren't living or they're unable to. It's pretty hard for them to pull outsiders in because you're not the original type thing.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Totally. And, we mix well, and it's another form of therapy for me. Like with you and with lifting and with training. It's sort of my lifting and training. Now, I still lift and train, but it's not what you're doing. It's not. I'm very cautious because of my back, but I just got back to where I can start doing pull-ups again from when I separated my shoulder.
Yeah.
It felt real good. I started actually doing like mixed grip sideways on the bar, like pulling myself straight up to get rid of that shoulder like pinch, So it feels good to be back at it. Feels really good. So I think that, I just liken that yearning, that need to have something to fill a gap. To be aware of that, I think is a good place to be.
Yeah, you're filling your time with something that is beneficial and enriching versus just plopping down and doing never or nothing.
Right, exactly. Anyway, that feels good. I'm happy about it.
Man.
Real happy about it. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyhow, man, we've been going at this about an hour. I should probably go ahead and shut up.
I swear that works. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that's episode 56. Wow, man. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks for hanging on, guys. I know we just really talked about a lot of random shit, but
it's random. But hey, random sometimes good.
Random works. Sometimes it's good just to sit here and bullshit.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys again for listening and watching. And, until next time.
Thanks, guys. Always.
Thank you, guys. Peace. We'll see you.